Oh, let me just come over here and grab a seat real quick. Oh, am I intentionally sitting this far away from the camera just so you can see my amazing shirt? Yes. Yes, I am. Hey neighbor, welcome back to another sequel on Sunday right here on ARTV. The first 7 episodes of 2020 have been sequels to celebrate 7 years of 7 on Sunday, and today I'm revealing my picks for songs sung by other members of the band, Part 2. Even though you don't have to have seen Part 1 in order to watch Part 2, I highly recommend that you do see it, so that way you don't comment something like, "Where is Marigold by Nirvana?" which was already featured in Part 1. I wouldn't want you to look like a dummy in the comments, so go watch that one right after this video if you're concerned about me possibly not having covered something. So the general idea for this countdown is obviously songs from a band where the lead vocalist doesn't do the lead vocals, rather the bassist, the guitarist, the keytarist, the saxophonist, who the hell else ever takes over on leads instead. The first episode that I posted last year got so much love from you guys. Thank you. I had a blast making it, so I made another one with 7 fresh picks from a variety of different decades for your listening pleasure. You're gonna dig this one, and you might even learn a thing or two along the way. So before we start this road trip, buckle up, annihilate the like button as it greatly helps my channel, and let's get going on this road trip to songs sung by someone else in the band.
Jesus don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain.
Alright, I'm gonna get something off my chest that will leave a lot of the classic rock heads furious. For the longest time, I had no idea that Don't Fear the Reaper was sung by someone other than lead singer Eric Bloom. Judge me all you want, but I'm not the most up-to-date source for all things Blue Oyster Cult, and I'm very willing to admit that. On what is arguably the band's signature hit song, guitarist Donald Buck Dharma Roser took over on lead vocals, adding a slightly haunting haze to the air as he broke down the topic of death and how truly inescapable it is. The Reaper is coming for all of us at some point, but the song isn't actually about wanting to die or suicide like many fans seem to think. The song appeared on their popular album Agents of Fortune in 1976, with many fans like myself recognizing it not only for its immersive opening guitar licks, but also for the absolutely brilliant use of even more cowbell. Even if you couldn't give me the name of the song, you probably recognize the voice, the hilarious SNL skit with Will Ferrell, or of course, the cowbell. Roser's voice is an oddly comforting voice from beyond that reminds us all of our own mortality in a way that doesn't just feel sad, more so just a, what are you gonna do with your time here on Earth and the people that are around you type of feeling. Serene but touching close to Gish by the Smashing Pumpkins bounced around a few different forms before eventually serving as the closing track to their debut album. Whereas one would probably assume that band leader Billy Corgan would handle all of the vocal responsibilities, there are a few notable exceptions, including Daydream, where their ex-bassist Darcy Retsky takes the reins. Corgan has done a recorded version of this song, and that's available as a B-side, but the album version released in 1991 captures Darcy's cold and distant sting perfectly, and I have to say that they made the right call on including her version on the album. Adding a string section to this short piece to pair up with that acoustic guitar that's so crystal clear in the mix, that's just a brilliant blend, and it's the perfect way to spend 2 minutes just zoning out, staring out into space. Things may have gone terribly wrong after the 90s for the Pumpkins, but at least we'll always have some true gems like this that proved why they could hang with the best of them in that decade. Muse are often very recognizable for their gargantuan riffs, electrifying bass grooves, and for the bravado in lead singer Matt Bellamy's wide-reaching voice. But there have been a few moments in time where it wasn't Bellamy booming away behind the mic, and bassist Chris Wolstenholme took the spotlight. 2 examples of this occur on their 2012 album The Second Law, those being Save Me and Liquid State. Both are really good songs, but I included Liquid State on this list because I really genuinely do feel that it holds a lot more to it in terms of composition and of course the story. Liquid State features a driving scuzzy bass rhythm bolstered by some choral sounding effects that help raise the stakes during the chorus. Chris has a more subdued but raw sounding voice that helps reel you in for this battle with alcoholism as he poured bottles down his throat until he couldn't see life anyway but upside down, hung over in a ditch so to speak. This remains one of the most underrated songs they've ever made, along with being one of my personal favorites. If you're more of a casual Muse fan and heard this once and assumed it was Matt Bellamy having a rough day at the vocal booth, no, not him. Give the bassist some not only for his sick prowess with the instrument, but for using his voice to speak out on something very personal to him. Even though this has happened before, this is probably the most prominent spot that drummer Taylor Hawkins ever had on lead vocals in the Foo Fighters. This is a song with a glorious backstory that's always fun to talk about, but essentially Dave Grohl wrote the music and had the title for the song, Sunday Rain, and then Taylor came in and wrote the rest of the lyrics based around that title. They performed this extensively on their Concrete and Gold World Tour, and I was lucky enough to see this song performed at Sonic Temple 2019 on a Sunday, get this, in the fucking rain! How cool is that? Collaboration was clearly key for making this song work, and it's actually one of the best tracks on that album. But what I haven't even mentioned yet is who drums on this one, since Taylor was off doing lead vocals. I'll give you a hint, he's a former Beatle and a current legend forever. Does the name Sir Paul McCartney ring a bell? If it does not, then please exit this video now and spend the next 6 months exploring his music. Yes indeed, Macca himself drummed on this one, and even with Dave Grohl being super picky when it comes to drummers, R.I.P. William Goldsmith, you were better in Sunny Day Real Estate anyways, I don't even think Dave would dare step on Paul's style, and I really like the slow brooding rock vibe him and the rest of the Foo Fighters created here.
Lovers I've had have been gaslighting lies. Don't know what that says about me.
Punk rock outfit Creeper entered the list at number 3 with Crickets, a more folksy campfire acoustic ballad that makes for a major change of pace on their killer album Eternity in Your Arms. Lead vocalist Will Gould's bombastic pain is traded in for the raw, emotional voice of keyboardist Hannah Greenwood. Hannah's been a key contributor for quite some time now, but I think people often forget what she adds to the backing vocals of tracks like Black Rain or Born Cold, and who the hell could forget her throttling team up with Will on Hiding with Boys? She's an ace in the hole for Creeper. This bluesy sidestep pits her against the wilderness of her own mind as she slips into despair over the past lovers that kinda tossed her to the side, failing to respect her and hurting both parties involved in the process. While this might seem like a wildly different song that could take some real getting used to in the Creeper universe, give it another chance if you previously skipped this one over. She bears her soul on Crickets, and the gritty descriptions she translates via song are just so visceral. Like, I know it's dramatic and I hate that these things happen, but I kinda wanna hear more.
Sailed across the Milky Seas, never looked back, never feared, never cried.
One simply does not think of Queen, one of the most iconic bands of all time, without thinking of Freddie Mercury. The man was a superstar before he even had an ounce of fame to his name, but what happens when his natural spotlight is shifted to another band member? This actually happened a handful of times, but I think my favorite example is 39 from A Night at the Opera, a folk-inspired journey that allowed lead guitarist Brian May to show off his pipes. His register is without a doubt night and day different when compared to Freddie, but it's not meant to be looked at through that lens. May's voice has a calmer quality to it, and alongside that vintage-sounding double bass from John Deacon that always sounds like it's on the brink of going into a John Denver song, he knocks it out of the damn park. Imagine you're on a voyage out to sea, which is exactly what this song makes me envision, except it's a voyage in space and you've been stuck there for 100 years. That's what this peppy-sounding song actually has to say, and yes, some of it could be interpreted to be much more personal, and whether or not you care about the story, it's a catchy slice of bliss to play on those dark days when you want some Queen music in your life, but maybe Freddie Mercury is just a little bit too much for you vocally right now.
It's not right, but it's too late for that now.
Beauty is found in unexpected places sometimes, and one of those spots would be this intimate shoegazing track Swallowtail by the British rock band Wolf Alice. This 2015 album, My Love Is Cool, is one of my all-time favorites, and with Ellie Roselle's voice powering the steam engine 95% of the time, It was a little bit hard to adjust to their drummer singing this lovely tune at first, but trust me, I got used to it. I shouldn't just say their drummer, God, I am so disrespectful. His name is Joel Amy, and his voice is like a calm body of water on a cold morning where you're just staring out at the scenery while your breath visibly hangs in the air. Make no mistake that lyrically, this is an emo song covered by a grungy shoegaze haze musically. I love how he just kind of takes a stab at channeling these feelings of falling in multiple ways, whether that be in love, just falling off of a cliff, not being in control, and he actually landed feet first running. Swallowtail is a type of butterfly that boasts similar colors to the album's cover, and to most out there watching, butterflies are probably seen as representative of hope, or maybe even a beacon of peace despite whatever your current mental state may be. It's a very refreshing song despite the sadness, and I do apologize for playing such a shitty sample of the song in the transition, but thanks to YouTube's copyright bullshit, I can't play more than 8 seconds of a studio recording, and there are no 8-second clips of this song that I could play to actually show you a good portion. There's also no professionally recorded live performances that I can find, so go do yourself a favor, hear the song for yourself, and make sure to stick around for that outro because things get wild. That's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching part 2 of 7 songs sung by other members of the band. That was kind of a tongue twister, as were many things in this episode, but I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, and subscribe if you happen to be new to the channel. Comment down below some other songs that maybe I didn't put on part 1 or part 2 that you would like to see on a potential part 3 in the future. Alright, I'm getting to it. I've been teasing it all video, but here is part 1. If you didn't see it, there's a direct link, no excuses. Go ahead and give that a click, or if you want to catch up on more SOS, then tap this card here. All of my social media accounts that you see on screen here can be found in the description down below, and outside of that, if you want to donate to me on Patreon, it's greatly appreciated. It helps videos like this get made, and I will see you soon for more on ARTV.